Welcome to the Project Communication Management tutorial.
Project Communications Management is one of the 10 key knowledge areas in project management. This knowledge area includes many processes that ensures information needs of the project and its stakeholders are properly met. Communication plays a vital role in project success, as unfortunately many projects fail due to communication issues. The first part is developing a strategy to ensure communication is effective for stakeholders. The second part is carrying out the activities necessary to implement the communication strategy, which will eventually lead to a successful project. Communication is the exchange of information, and some of the important forms of communication include written form, spoken or verbal, formal and informal, through gestures, through media, and finally through a choice of words. Misunderstandings can be reduced through the use of 5 C's of written communication when composing a traditional non-social media written or spoken message. These are correct grammar and spelling, concise expression and elimination of excess words, clear purpose and expression directed to the needs of the reader, coherent logical flow of ideas, and finally, controlling flow of words and ideas. Misunderstandings can also be reduced by strengthening communication skills by doing the following: active listening, being aware of cultural and personal differences between teams and stakeholders, identifying and managing stakeholder expectations, enhancing the skills of team members by doing the following: motivating people and providing encouragement or reassurance, coaching to improve performance and achieve desired results, negotiating to achieve mutually acceptable agreements between parties and reduce approval or decision delays, and finally, resolving conflicts to prevent disruptive impacts. Now we'll go ahead and explore the 3 processes of project communications management, which are plans communication management, manage communications, and finally, monitor communications. Here is a diagram that shows an overview of the 3 processes, and we will go into depth of each process. The first process we will explore is plans communication management. In this process, they develop an approach for the project communication based on the needs of the stakeholders and organizational assets, as well as the needs of the project. So these are the following factors that should be addressed: audience, objective, message, and channel of communication. The inputs in plan communication management are project charter. This is important as it contains information about the roles and responsibility of the stakeholders. Project management plan. This includes resource management plan and stakeholder engagement plan. Project documents. This includes requirements documentations and stakeholder register. Enterprise environmental factors. This can influence the plan's communication management, which includes organizational culture and political climate, and organizational process assets. This can influence the plan's communication management as well, including the organizational communication requirements. These are the 8 tools and techniques of the plan communications management. So we'll go over a few of these tools and techniques in detail. So the first one is communication requirements analysis. This tool determines information that the stakeholder needs. So requirements are defined by combining the type and format of information needed with an analysis of the value of the information. Second is communication models. There is a linear form, which includes the sender and receiver, interactive form, which includes the sender, receiver, and provides feedback, and a complex model. This incorporates human elements of the sender or the receiver and attempts to show the complexity of any communication that involves people. And finally, meetings. So in this tool, project teams will be required to discuss the most appropriate method to update and communicate with their various stakeholders. This includes virtual or face-to-face meetings, emails, and project websites. The outputs for plans communication management are communication management plan. This describes how project communications will be planned, structured, implemented, and monitored. This plan contains information such as stakeholder communication requirements, glossary of common terminology, etc. Project management plan updates. Any change to project management plan goes through the organizational change control process via change request. The stakeholder engagement plan, which updates frequently. And lastly, project document updates. This project documents may be updated as a result of carrying out this process, and the documents include project schedule and stakeholder register. So this concludes our discussion about plans communication management process, and now we will move on to study managed communications process.
The second process of project communication management is managed communications. This process goes beyond the distribution of relevant information and seeks to ensure that the information being communicated to stakeholders has been appropriately collected, created, formatted, stored, retrieved, managed, and monitored for the intended receivers. Once the plan has been created and approved, it is a project manager's job to ensure that it is managed. Throughout the project duration, information is distributed to the stakeholders. This distribution of information is part of the managed communications process. The inputs are as follows. Project management plan. This includes a description of communications that are needed for the management of teams or physical resources, communication strategies, a description of how project communication will be planned, structured, monitored, and controlled, and how stakeholders will be engaged. Project document includes change log, issue log, lessons learned register, quality report, risk report, and stakeholder register. Work performance reports are circulated to the project stakeholder. Examples of work performance reports include status reports and progress reports. Enterprise environmental factors that influence this process include, but are not limited to, organizational culture, political climate. The organizational process assets that can influence this process include corporate policies and procedures.
These are the 7 tools and techniques for the managed communications.
Now, let's go through a few tools and techniques of managed communications. Project management information systems can ensure that stakeholders can easily retrieve the information they need in a timely manner. Project information is managed and distributed using a variety of tools including electronic project management tools, electronic communications management, and social media management. Project reporting is the act of collecting and distributing project information. Project information is distributed to many groups of stakeholders and should be adapted to provide information at an appropriate level, format, and detail for each type of stakeholder. The format may range from simple communication to more elaborate custom reports and presentations. The output of managed communication process includes project communications artifacts include performance reports, deliverable status, schedule progress, cost incurred, presentations, and other information required by stakeholders. Project management plan updated. Components of the project management plan may be updated as a result of carrying out this process, include but are not limited to communications management plan as well as the stakeholder engagement plan. Project documents that may be updated as a result of carrying out this process include issue log, lessons learned register, project schedule, risk register, and stakeholder register. Organizational process assets that may be updated as a result of this process include but are not limited to project records such as correspondence, memos, meeting minutes, and other documents used on the projects. The final process that we will talk about is monitor communications.
This process ensures that the information needs of the project and stakeholders are properly met. It involves monitoring and controlling project communications throughout its entire life cycle. This includes confirming the communications went out as planned, confirming they were received by stakeholders, confirming messages were understood, confirming relevant feedback was provided. The inputs of monitoring and controlling project communications processes are project management plan, which includes the resource management plan. This is used to understand the actual project organization, communications management plan, and the stakeholder engagement plan. For project documents, it includes the issue logs, which provides the project history, a record of stakeholder engagement issues, and the lessons learned register. Work performance data. This contains data on the types and qualities of communications that have actually been distributed. The enterprise environmental factors includes organizational culture and political climate and governance framework. And finally, organizational process assets includes corporate policies and procedures. These are the 5 tools and techniques for the monitor communications. Let's go over a few of the tools and techniques for monitor communications. Expert judgment. Project teams should consider the expertise of individuals or groups with specialized knowledge or training in the communication with the public, community, and media in an international environment between virtual groups and communications and project management systems. Interpersonal and team skills can be used for this process include observation and conversation, so discussion and dialogue with the project team will help determine appropriate methods to update and communicate project performance and to respond to stakeholders. Observation and conversation enables the project manager to identify issues, conflicts, or individual performance issues. The output for monitor communication processes are work performance information. This includes information on how project communication is performing. It also considers feedback on communication, such as survey results on communication effectiveness. Change request. Change requests are processed through Perform Integrated Change Control. This process includes revision stakeholder communication requirements and new procedure to eliminate bottlenecks. Project management plan updates. This includes the updated communications management plan with the new information to make communication more effective and the updated stakeholder engagement plan to reflect the situation of stakeholders and their needs. Project document updates. This includes updated documents such as issue logs with new information on issues raised, lessons learned register with causes of issues, and revised stakeholder communication requirements. So in summary, project communications management includes the processes necessary to ensure that the information needs of the project and its stakeholders are met through development of artifacts and implementation of activities designed to achieve effective information exchange. Utilizing the 3 processes within this knowledge area like we discussed in this video tutorial will improve communication and lead to successful projects.